Hey there, fellow adventurers. Today, we're setting off on a really epic journey. But we're not heading into some fantasy land with dragons and wizards. Nope. We're going somewhere way more complex, way more mysterious, inside the human nervous system. We're going to explore what I like to call the kingdom of the mind and check out the incredible arsenal of tools its guardians use to protect it. So let's get started.
All right, so here's our game plan for this quest. First, we'll explore the kingdom of the mind. Then we'll meet its guardians, look at their artifacts for diagnosis and their tools of intervention. After that, we'll touch on the lore of the mind and finish up with the unending quest. Let's go.
So our adventure kicks off in the kingdom of the mind. Now, when I say kingdom, don't picture castles and moats. Think bigger. Think a massive, unbelievably intricate network that includes your brain, your spinal cord, and all your nerves. I mean, this is the command center, right? It's what governs every single thought, every breath, every little move you make.
So to really get a handle on this incredible kingdom, you got to look at the field of neurology. It's kind of like the official study of the kingdom's laws, its geography, all its deepest secrets. It's the whole field dedicated to understanding and protecting this realm from anything that might threaten it. Okay, Section 2, Guardians of the Brain, the seers and the artisans. Every good kingdom needs its heroes, right? Its protectors. Well, in our story, those are the guardians of the brain. These are the amazing specialists who dedicate their entire lives to defending the super complex workings of our nervous system. So, let's meet them. But what are they up against? What are these perils of the realm? Well, things can get pretty serious. Imagine these sudden, unpredictable electrical storms firing off in the brain. That's epilepsy. Or picture a weakened blood vessel just bulging like a ticking time bomb. That's a brain aneurysm. And then there are these dark growths, brain tumors that threaten the harmony of the entire kingdom. So, to fight these dangers, you've got two main types of guardians. First up, you have the seer. That's your neurologist. They're the ones who read all the signs, figure out what's wrong, and come up with non-surgical treatment plans. And then you have the artisan, the neurosurgeon. Think of them as the master craftsmen. They're the ones who go in with incredibly advanced surgical tools to physically repair the kingdom with just mind-blowing precision. Right. Now, before the artisan can get to work, the seer has to figure out exactly what's going on. And to do that, they need a very special set of tools, powerful artifacts that can help decipher the brain's biggest secrets. And one of their most important artifacts is something called the crown of whispers. In our world, we call it an electroencephalogram, or, EEG for short. Now, this thing doesn't read your thoughts, let's be clear. Instead, it listens to the electrical whispers of the brain. This makes it absolutely essential for spotting those electrical storms we talked about with epilepsy. So how does this crown of whispers actually work? Well, it's pretty cool. A cap, which is covered in a bunch of these small electrodes, is placed on the patient's head. You can think of these electrodes as super-sensitive listeners, just picking up on all the faint electrical chatter coming from the brain cells, and then they send all that information off to be processed. And the whole process is basically a four-step ritual. First, the electrodes detect those tiny electrical charges. Then, connecting wires transfer those signals. Step 3, an amplifier boosts those really weak signals to make them strong enough to read. And finally, all that data gets displayed on a screen, which gives the seers a really clear picture of what the brain's electrical activity looks like.
Okay, so once the problem is identified, it's time for the artisan, the neurosurgeon, to step in. We're now entering the artisan's forge to check out the powerful tools they use to actively go in and repair the kingdom.
All right, first up is the celestial compass. In medical terms, it's the stereotactic frame. Look, trying to navigate the brain is like trying to navigate the stars. You need an incredibly precise map, and that's exactly what this is. It's this remarkable device that lets the surgeon pinpoint a target deep inside the brain with almost perfect accuracy. It's amazing.
And here you can see kind of how it works. This frame is fitted over the person's head, and what it does is create a 3-coordinate system, basically a perfect 3D grid. This lets the surgeon guide their tools to the exact spot they need to be, even if the patient moves just a tiny bit. I mean, we're talking about precision engineering at its absolute best.
But, a map isn't enough. When you're operating on something as delicate as the brain, you need more than that. You need something like superhuman vision. And for that, they turn to the all-seeing eye, the neurosurgical operating microscope. And trust me, this is not your high school science class microscope. This is a massively sophisticated piece of equipment.
It gives the surgeon this high-quality, magnified, and brightly lit 3D view of the area they're working on. It lets them see every tiny, delicate detail of the brain's structures. What's really cool is the whole surgical team can see what's happening on these large screens. This all-seeing eye is absolutely crucial for everything from removing tumors to fixing those ticking time bombs we talked about, the brain aneurysms.
And speaking of those, here's a look at that peril up close. A brain aneurysm is basically a weak, bulging spot on the wall of an artery in the brain. The danger? If that thing ruptures, it can cause catastrophic bleeding. It really is a ticking time bomb inside someone's head.
So how do you diffuse it? Well, the artisan uses a tiny but incredibly powerful artifact, the aneurysm clip. It's a small metal clip, and it gets placed with extreme precision right at the base of the aneurysm. This chokes off the blood flow to it and stops it from ever being able to rupture. Just like that, the bomb is diffused.
But not every intervention is about taking something out. Sometimes the kingdom just needs its balance restored, and that's where the pacemaker of the mind, or the neurostimulator, comes in. This is a device that gets implanted and it delivers very precise electrical pulses to specific parts of the nervous system. It can help manage things like chronic pain or the tremors you see with Parkinson's disease.
And implanting one is like a carefully choreographed ritual. There's a small incision to place the leads, then a second one to create a little pocket under the skin for the device itself. The leads get connected to the stimulator, and then everything is closed up. It's just a remarkable procedure for restoring electrical harmony to the kingdom.
Whew, okay, we've seen the Guardians and their incredible tools. So let's just take a second here, pause, and reflect on the deeper meaning of all this by diving into the ancient lore of the mind.
This quote really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The brain is regarded as a divine gift, a vessel through which we explore the wonders of the world, make decisions, and comprehend the signs of creation. I mean, that just says it all. The brain is so much more than just an organ. It's the vessel that lets us think, feel, learn, experience the entire universe. It's the absolute center of who we are.
All right, we're nearing the end of our journey for today, but for the real-life Guardians, the work is never, ever done. So let's look ahead, to the horizon, and think about this unending quest to forge the future.
Because this pursuit of knowledge, it's a non-stop journey. As science and technology just keep rocketing forward, the seers and the artisans are going to forge even more powerful tools, even more incredible artifacts. And that leaves us with one final, big question to chew on. As they do that, what new wonders are they going to uncover in the kingdom of the mind? What secrets about consciousness, about memory, about our very identity are still just waiting to be discovered in there? Really makes you think.